Now's the time, y'all. A lot of people have asked me to do one big deep dive video on Ricky and Gina, similar to the one that I did on Ricky and Nene. I have a lot to say about this, and I have said a lot about this, but now I get to finally put it all into one video, so make sure you watch to the end and comment what you think. One of the main questions that comes to mind when I think of Ricky and Gina is, was it one-sided? Did Ricky have any romantic feelings for Gina? Luckily for us, there's one scene in particular that answers this question.
It's tough, you know, seeing Gina. It's like she never left. But I'm also not who I was a week ago. Or maybe I'm just back to who I always was. I don't know. Something's different.
This is the scene that confirms that Ricky at one point had romantic feelings for Gina. It is not open for interpretation. That is what the show is trying to tell us here. Think about it. If Ricky only saw her as a friend, if Ricky only had platonic feelings for Gina, those feelings could coexist with his romantic feelings for Nene. But in this scene, he's describing a shift back to normalcy, back to who he always was. This implies that his feelings for Gina were a detour from his feelings for Nene. If his feelings for Gina were platonic, he wouldn't need this shift back. He could easily just be Gina's friend and Nene's boyfriend simultaneously. What he's implying here is that his romantic feelings for Gina and his romantic feelings for Nene were at war with each other, and it was only when Gina moved away that his feelings for Nene could grow without interference. With that confirmation that Ricky views Gina in a romantic light, we can rewatch earlier scenes with a newfound clarity.
What happened with Gina on Friday?
I'm not sure yet.
What isn't he sure about? If his interest wasn't piqued romantically, he would have just said, oh, I apologized to Gina and then gave her a ride home. But clearly there's something more there.
I was sort of hoping you'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, I kind of can't forget about anything that happened to Homecoming.
I mean, come on. But another way the show affirms Ricky's feelings for Gina is by putting them side by side with his feelings for Nene. Take a look at this.
Whoa, no, hang on.
Look, I gotta go. Really.
Okay. You can be mad at me all you want, but you should talk to your mom, Ricky. You know you always feel better when you...
Thanks. I really don't need advice from a buddy right now.
That's interesting.
Think I should, text her Happy Thanksgiving or something?
Wait a minute, was that Ricky Bowen asking Gina Porter for advice? Something he doesn't want or need from a buddy?
What I think we should do is go to the party and spend a few hours being drama dorks as the good Lord intended. Do what makes you happy.
Gina's advice to Ricky is to go to the party. And what does Ricky do?
Give me that hat.
He goes to the party. I've seen a lot of people use the fact that Ricky did end up calling his mom as a sort of anti-Rena, pro-Rene thing. I'm not gonna lie, I think of it as the complete opposite. Because listen, I know that Ricky loves Nene. I know that he has romantic feelings for her. I am not in any doubt about that. What I'm trying to figure out is if he felt somewhat similarly towards Gina at all. Nene is the control group here. She is the example of how Ricky reacts towards someone he loves romantically. If he only took Gina's advice and not Nene's, I wouldn't think anything of this. But because he took both of their advices, by both going to the party and calling his mom, it's putting them in the same box. It's telling me that Ricky responds to both of them in similar ways. And this is particularly significant because Ricky has told us before that he looks to his romantic partners for advice. He does not ask Big Red for advice.
What are you gonna do? I don't know. No offense, but the one person I go to for advice is currently on our honeymoon in the cafeteria.
The one person, huh?
Think I should, text her Happy Thanksgiving or something?
And in season 2?
The one person I go to for advice.
This simply is no longer true as soon as Gina comes into his life. What does it say that Ricky is viewing Gina more like Nene than Big Red?
It's really hard to talk about it, you know? Not with you, but anyone else, it's
Yeah, there's just some things I tell you that I don't really tell anyone else.
Yeah, no, I think we do that for each other.
And what does it say that even in season 2, when Ricky is with Nene, Gina has taken up a role in Ricky's life that used to be occupied by Nene? Remember when I said that Ricky's feelings for Gina were a detour from his feelings for Nene? This is only made clearer when you take a look at Ricky's behavior at the beginning of season 1, as opposed to during his friendship with Gina. This is how Ricky treated girls while he was still hung up on Nene.
Fine. Did I hang out with a couple girls this summer? Possibly. Did I talk about Nene the entire time? Absolutely.
Interestingly enough, he never talks to Gina about Nene in season 1, not before opening night, and perhaps even more interestingly, he never talks to the audience about her either. Until after Gina moves away, of course. But again, Gina moving away is what allowed Ricky's feelings for Nene to flourish without interference. If you're not convinced by now that Ricky and Gina's relationship wasn't one-sided, at least during season 1, then there's no convincing you. I don't know what to tell you. But it wasn't. Now, I would like to affirm, I am 100% aware that Ricky loves Nene. I am not trying to deny that at all. In fact, I am so glad that season 1 ended the way it did. But when discussing the season 1 ending, we Rena shippers are always bombarded with what I dub the question. The question being, what is the point of season 1, or rather, the ending of season 1, if Ricky and Nene don't end up together in the whole series? Well, let me answer that for you. Ricky's arc, at its core, in season 1, was never about Nene. It was about him learning to be emotionally vulnerable and say I love you. He needed Nene to do that, but that doesn't mean that he's destined to be with Nene forever. In fact, I think that even in season 1, we are shown that Ricky and Nene aren't meant to be forever. They were never compatible. They were never good for each other, even their first go-around that took place before season 1. The problem is, that isn't why they broke up. They broke up because Ricky couldn't say I love you. But he did love her. They did love each other, so they needed to get back together and then find out that they aren't compatible. It's all about the closure. And if you want to hear more evidence for this, please go check out my videos that I made on this. this, Nene and Ricky, which is pinned to the top of my account, and Nene and Ricky Part 2, which is linked through that video. Ricky and Nene needed their closure, which is why Ricky couldn't be with Gina before Rini got back together. Part of the reason why the Rena ship is still alive despite having 6 episodes of no interaction is because they didn't get what Rini had. They didn't get closure. Rini got their closure before Rena could happen. But Rena didn't get their closure before Portwell could happen. So while there are things that I like about Portwell, I am hesitant to root for it because I feel like it relies on a faulty foundation. I know many of you think that the flashback scene is Ricky and Gina's closure. Maybe I'd agree with you if it wasn't for this line right here.
Well, have you talked about it since then?
This line calls attention to the fact that they haven't talked about it yet, and that there needs to be a conversation in the future. Let me tell you, I thought it was going to happen in the season 2 finale. I was shocked that it didn't. There's also an interesting implication in Gina's response to Ashlyn's question.
I mean, Nini's back, and he's so happy now. What's there to talk about?
Because what Gina didn't know is Ricky wasn't very happy. Him and Nene were having tons of problems. But now Gina has a new boyfriend, and we only know that it works when she's not talking to her old crush. If Portwell wants any chance of working, Ricky and Gina need to have a conversation. The fun thing about the confirmation that Ricky did have romantic feelings for Gina is that it's both a win for the antis and the shippers. Like, yay, it legitimizes the ship, but it also makes what Gina went through all the more painful, because he chose Nene despite this, you know what I mean? So let's talk about that. Can Ricky and Gina recover? I believe I might be in the minority when I say that I think Ricky in season 2 is a lot better and experienced a lot more growth than Ricky in season 1. Ricky's actions in season 2A seem so jarring to us because we see a lot of it through Gina's perspective and it is very hurtful. But as sad as I feel for Gina, I do feel like a lot of what was wrong with their relationship was situational and not Ricky's fault. The fact of the matter is, Ricky and Gina couldn't have that same relationship they had in season 1 because the relationship in season 1 wasn't entirely platonic. And now, Ricky has a girlfriend. And we don't want Ricky to cheat on his girlfriend. And that's sad for Gina. But what else is Ricky supposed to do? Certainly not cross the line and cheat on Nene, and definitely not just break off his friendship with Gina as soon as he got with Nene either. It may not have been perfect, but he tried his best. And I know everyone says, but Ricky kept going to Gina for relationship advice knowing that she liked him. Okay, but let's add some context and nuance to the situation. The first time Gina offered him relationship advice, was Ricky the one to bring up Nene?
It's Nene.
No, the phone rang, so the topic naturally followed. Then Gina was the one who offered him advice without being asked.
Just kind of a weird day.
Hey, Ricky, you should call her back and play it over the phone.
I don't know.
The second time Gina offers Ricky relationship advice, was Ricky the one who brought Nene up? No, Big Red was. In fact, Ricky tried to stop him, adamantly.
Oh, Gina, perfect. We need a girl's point of view on something.
Don't.
Ricky wants to text something so dumb to Nene, and I'm telling him not to.
Dude, it's not.
What's next?
Big Red, he wants to tell.
And then, again, Gina offered him advice unprompted, with a smile on her face, though a fake one.
Yeah, don't ever text that. Or say it out loud for that matter. Or...
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to suck you into a...
So now we've established a pattern. In Ricky's mind, Gina is a friend that's willing
That's so good.
and able to give him relationship advice, and her advice always gives good results. So can we really blame Ricky too much for coming to Gina for advice at Carlos's birthday? This is the first time he asks her for advice. So I don't know, I can't really blame him for being confused when Gina gets upset and draws that boundary. And to be clear, I 100% think that Gina was within her rights to do that. I just think we can be a little easier on Ricky. Was Ricky perfect towards Gina in season 2? No, of course not. Yeah, he could have offered her a little closure probably. But was he any more at fault than Gina running away from him in season 1, or Nene not communicating to him in season 2, or EJ freaking poisoning someone? They've all made mistakes, okay? They're flawed characters, and that's what makes them so great. But I don't think it's too much to recover from. And the reason why it's worth recovering is because Ricky and Gina were so great. In season 1, the only time when Ricky and Gina were able to explore their relationship without any boundaries, without Ricky having a girlfriend, they were so happy. If we assume the homecoming date on this poster to be correct, then we can assume that there was at least 40 days in between the episode where they saved Miss Jen's job and the Thanksgiving episode that we didn't get to see. But we have good reason to assume that that's 40 more days of flirting, affirmations, and telling each other things they don't tell anyone else. Their relationship didn't suffer in season 2 because Ricky suddenly became toxic. It suffered because Ricky got a girlfriend and couldn't be as close to her as he was before. So there's absolutely no reason to believe that Ricky and Gina would be toxic together. Ricky and Nene didn't work simply because they were incompatible. But him not being the right partner for Nene doesn't mean that he wouldn't be a good boyfriend to somebody else. And interestingly, the show points this out using Gina.
Theoretically, if we were dating and I went behind your back, but for like a good reason, wouldn't you be flattered?
Yeah, Ricky, I'd be flattered.
Gina would be flattered, but who wasn't?
And then you went behind my back and asked Miss Jen to give me a part in the show, even though I told you I didn't want one.
Interesting. The same situation. Nene hates it. Gina would be flattered by it.